So what are we doing?
Picking up our Jawa.
We're about to leave home and go down there now. And we finally made it. Jawa. Look at them all.
Got your 2 slide out drawers. Alright. I'll take these out as well so we can.
They got to go on, don't they?
They do, they stop. It's not that they have to, it's more that so it doesn't pop off and scratch all your stainless up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would put them on every time they're not in use. So we'll leave that on for now. I'll finish packing away the sink. Tap down, just a little check underneath, nothing's hanging down. Oh, before I do slide it out, sorry. Hose for the Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you can either, bayonet's there, bayonet off the front.
Yeah.
Push. Plug me in. They've plugged me in already to the bayonet underneath. All right. You have a cutlery drawer. Now it has a piezo starter underneath, so it's run off a D battery. So if you ever do any heavy off-road and get to side and you're not getting that click for the start, the D battery might have come out. You can get to the cassette just through here. Okay, you'll feel it, D battery. Otherwise, we just push down, turn. All right, it does have flame out as well, so if the wind takes one, 5 seconds later gas will cut, so you can come straight back and light up.
Okay.
If you are using it and you do have this Annex set up, you must roll it all up. It does need to be up for ventilation. It's all here in the...
monoxide, you're dead.
So look, up she goes. Putting our casings on.
The certain one that goes a certain way.
Yep, so you'll see the little holes as well.
Yep.
The little prongs are on the side. Just saves any damage happening to them as well, because that can be affected if that's not touching in its spot, and you're putting on the casing in a different angle and you're always continuously hitting that.
Yeah.
It can push it out, and it can be enough to cause it from starting to light. Once we're done, it's lifting up, slotting in, folding down. Bayonet, we just push and turn from underneath, out of there. There is also a little clip in the back of this, all right?
Oh, the little black
So
one,
that
that's the one.
there's a little white one just up under here.
Yeah, got him.
Cool. So that saves that hose from falling out and rattling around and getting damaged. Dust cover goes on. We're happy. Cool, cool, cool. Then we just do our checks. If you're using the Barbie instead of that, you can make use of that 12 volt in USB as well, but the wind guards do cover it when the kitchen's out. Other than that, we make sure all our handles are up, handles are down. Take my chamois out.
Do the lights go off? You're going back to a switch?
We've gone back to the switch.
Yeah.
Okay, tray table.
Beautiful.
Make sure when you're done with that, just popping that up. Don't just lift. So pop up.
That's the mixer table, isn't it?
Yeah. Look.
Is there a PowerPoint one there?
Yep.
Yep. Is that him?
Yep.
That's good.
Okay.
The blender will go there.
Perfect. In saying that too, I'll get onto it anyway, but you've got the power pass, so AC transfer with the little switch just here. So if you do want to change that over, if we weren't in mains power, turn that on, inverter's on now,
Okay.
and this PowerPoint is running.
It's running.
Yep, PowerPoints. We'll go over that when we get in. But at this stage, we're running off mains, so we don't need that on. TV inside, 24-inch TV DVD player. You want to watch TV outside, slide into the bracket. Aerial, 12 volt, USB.
Yeah.
You don't need those other connections because it's an inbuilt DVD player.
Yeah.
All right. Going on moving forward. There's 3 switches down here to do with outside stuff.
Yep.
Floor light is your handle and your little floor light. Okay,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
1 and 2. External storage is those 3 boxes. So kitchen, fridge,
So
Jenny.
if you forget to turn them off, that's the master.
Exactly.
Yeah.
External speakers, so we're listening to the radio at the moment. 2 speakers are going inside. If you want to turn them on outside as well. Finish outside, you want to go back in, keep listening, so the neighbours don't have to listen. All right. Radios, Bluetooth, USB, auxiliary, and all that stuff.
We'll work all them out.
Too easy.
Pretty,
Auxiliary in,
pretty
Bluetooth to phone, radio.
beautiful.
Goodbye. All right. We don't need the floor light. I'll leave the external storage on for when we get over to the Jenny box. We will keep
Going around?
making our way around. So watch your step on the way out. Pole box off the rear. Okay, so we'll stack some poles in there today.
Yep.
2 toolboxes, tap off the rear. So it's got the piece for female thread as well, so if you want to screw on and
Okay.
run a hose a bit further out.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's just straight cold water from the fresh tanks. All right.
Beautiful.
Underneath, you've got your levels, springs and shocks, recovery points.
We don't need that. We don't go anywhere. It breaks down.
Lucky to get it out of the shed.
Now look, spare wheel. If you do have to take that off, you've got a speedy wheel brace for the 19mm.
Yep.
All right. You will need a 13mm socket for the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Pull them out. Yeah.
Pull
And
that
then
off,
light
disconnect,
plugs.
yep, disconnect the light plugs,
Yep. Cool.
and that comes off, wheel comes off.
Yep.
All right. Bike rack holder, you've already got your
Have you
number
got a
plate on.
weight limit on that?
Off the top of my head, no, I don't. I know John and Rob do. All right, that's just your radio aerial.
Yep.
Um,
Anderson plug?
Yep. Snuck it over here for the portable solar. Okay. Plugging in. It's just a little.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Cool. You've moved them again. They were back there.
They were, but we've had to move them. So
Okay.
it's. I find it's a bit easier to get into
would be
anyway,
good,
rather
easier.
than the other one. You sort of had to sneak up a little bit on the
Yeah,
other side.
I like that.
But yeah,
Real good.
that's hidden over there. So yep, run your portable solar. Unregulated as well.
Yep.
So DC to DC,
Yep.
300 on the roof. 300 on the roof, so another 300.
200
Yeah, you could.
outside,
Yeah, you could go. Yep, you go up to 300. You've got stabilizer legs in each corner. Once that's in, make sure it does lock into place.
19mm.
Yep. If you're using a drill, just make sure nice and easy. Yep. Don't.
Stabilizers, not levelers.
Yeah.
That's what I tell my drivers. So.
Once you're done, do make sure it is locked. All right, nothing worse than people driving, flashing you because your legs just smashing behind you. Grey water, that's the dump point for that. Okay,
Beautiful.
we'll drain all that before you go. If you need to empty your other tanks,
Are they got taps too?
yep, they're just on a little ball valve here.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Now, what you have to do is decide whether you're going to completely fill them or completely drain them for storage. It's one or the other.
Yeah. Otherwise you can grow.
Yeah,
Stuff in
exactly.
the
Some people like to completely fill them and put a bit of chemical in it so it sits in there, so when they come, the next person will say, well, that's a waste of water when you've got to dump that and then feed another 200 and 6 1/2 dozen in the other. Just make sure it is one or the other.
Yeah.
I sometimes go towards the dumping because you just got to remember the Truma system, if you're storing it for a long time, does have to be dumped as well because it has no anode.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll get in when we get inside. I'll show you how to
Little
dump.
yellow valve.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay, we've done stabilizers, we've done that. Toilet cassette. I'm in my bucket.
That's Selena's job.
So it's running off its own tank, okay?
Yeah.
So when you fill, it's a pressured fill, okay? So we're not full at the moment, we're about 3/4 though,
Yep.
because here's the gauge.
Oh yeah.
So put this on because there's a couple of chemicals, one for this, one for the actual cassette. So I've only got the bucket, so we'll put a bit more in, but you'll see that start to climb up once I start tipping in.
Same as our last one.
I never did the last one.
Are you going to do this one?
Well, I just want to know in case.
So once that's done, that was the aircon dripping on me. Slide that back in, cover on.
We didn't have that last time though. That little
Nice.
green
No.
Yeah, well it's heaps better, so nothing's all
yeah,
spilling out on you.
spills.
Sliding it out, lift, slide out. Make sure if you get any resistance, you just hold off in case you've left the chute open inside. Because
Open.
Might turn a bit shitty.
wheel away to where you have to go. Open her up, make sure you take that back off as well.
Yeah.
So there is a couple of measurements as well, so if you're using the chemical supplied by Thetford, you can use X amount, in you go, or through the top. Pushing the button and releasing in.
That's the good ones.
Cap on, put your little holder back, and just remember, depending on what you're using, you do have a little bit of storage in there as well. All right?
Yeah. The last one had that. For the little.
That's it. That'll open back up, ready for use. And you can lock it too, so no one steals it.
They don't want your poo, they want the actual tank.
Yeah. All right. Like we said, portable solar panels,
Awesome.
outside shower. Have they done that? Oh.
Our son reckons this is his shower.
Oh, might have to nip that up a little bit. So you can see that is really hot.
Oh yeah.
All right, mix it in with a bit of cold. Get your temperature, switch her off, and then you can hook it up into the kick-ass when you're ready, and away you go again.
Beautiful.
All right,
Close the door.
close the door, lock it up. Have you seen how the kick-ass works? You want me to pull it out? I don't mind.
We haven't seen it.
Okay.
I've seen a video.
Yeah, I'll rip it out for you if you like.
Thank you. Right, bro.
All right.
Beautiful.
Couple of zips. Lets it roll out. One, two. Brand new. Yeah. All right, and that's it. You can adjust your straps, get it all nice and tight. Lift it up a little bit more if you want a bit more privacy up high. All right, and that's all there is to it. There is pegs supplied for it, so you can use standard ones, but it's got a couple that they supply. Otherwise, yeah, get it all out, just peg it all down, and you do just need to straighten those out
Yeah, lock them in.
so it locks into place.
Yep.
All right. Once you're done, you can kick that in. That'll start to fold in. Oh, go that way, sorry. Oh, and I've done the wrong way.
Do a couple of things.
Oh.
Done.
Done. Nice and easy. 15 amp lead in.
Yep. Normal.
Awesome. Tyre pressures, look, we run the tyre pressures when we're loaded up on road at about 60 psi.
Yep. Okay.
We find that's what's best for the vans, obviously changing to the conditions of the road, whether it be sand, corrugations, whatnot, adjusting with your car as well. We've torqued the wheel nuts to 140 foot-pound.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Look, if you don't have a torque wrench, just making sure for that speedy wheelbase each time. I recommend checking your tyre pressures and wheel nuts each time you set off. If you need to get the wheel off, you'll need a little 5mm Allen key as well,
Yep.
just to take the grease cap cover off, yeah. We've set the toe in, toe out, done a wheel alignment.
Adjusted already.
Yep, we
Someone
do that.
asked that
Yeah,
in the group.
we do. We do toe in, toe out, camber caster, and then we actually just tack weld it so it's not going to move as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So that's all done. That's your intake outtake for the Truma gas heater.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going, I haven't seen that one before.
No, No, so that's on the outside there. So that does get hot as well.
Yep.
So
Beautiful.
just making sure your little aerial inlet
Beautiful,
in.
yep.
All right, just with its waterproof cover.
Beautiful. That's good satellite. No more.
Hot water system.
Yep.
All right,
Cover's
so
gonna come off.
covers off.
Yep.
If you're using it on 240, cover can remain on.
Okay.
Okay, and it's just turning on under the bed. So you'd basically hook into your power, go flick it on under the bed, which I'll show you. That's it, done. No, I'm still running on gas, so this cowl cover's hot. Like I could be, but most of the time I'd still run on gas for the reason of if you're not someone, well, two reasons for you. That hot water system power point is still on the inverter.
Okay.
Okay, so if you forget,
And leave
it's
it
gonna
on.
try pull. So look, more than not for you, but otherwise, look, yeah, it can run on 240, flick it on under the bed. We've got your 3 water tanks, okay? They're all key to light.
Grey water.
So grey at the back, yep.
Yep.
Rear tank,
Which is the bigger?
front tank. The front tank's a little bit bigger, the 120, yeah. All right. So once we've got that, you've all, grey water's more your flush out. So when you've had, been sending stuff in, feed in. Same thing, but you need to either fill or empty that each as storage. Don't travel with it full. Don't even travel with it over half full. You're doing a bit of roads that you're wobbling. It can come back up through the shower. Okay. Sticking with the water, mains water pressure.
Yep.
So if you're at the van park, take advantage of their water. Hooking in. This is just a little
You don't have to turn any taps. You just
Nope.
automatic.
automatic. All right. So you just won't use the pump. So you'll basically rock up, put your little fitting in nice and tight,
Plug it in.
hook in.
Yeah.
Turn the hose on.
Yep, that's it.
On and everything comes light.
Correct. So you won't have to use the pumps. It's going to bypass them. It's going to bypass the tank and fill the lines. When you're done, just making sure you take that little. Yeah. You may have to just snip it up if you've got a shifter. You'll know if it's squirting back out at you. So either way, don't crank it on so that it's never going to come off, because once the pressure goes through, it gets pretty tight. You got storage here.
Yep. Storage box.
Just be mindful, there's so much storage, but if you get everything in, jam these shut, and then something, well, when something slides underneath, if it does,
You won't open it.
you won't open it. All right,
Yeah.
so just make sure there's plenty of space behind them and you pack nice and tight in there.
Yeah.
I'll leave that down so I don't forget to put the cover on. Journey box, so that's that on that same circuit, okay? External storage.
Yeah.
All right, it also does have another little light inside. All right, that just slides out. That's all locked into place. That's the annex floor.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful.
All right, I can shut that one. Make sure my handle's down. That's it. You've got in here that speedy wheel, but oh, my shirt's ripping. That speedy wheel brace.
Oh yeah.
Okay, 19 mil.
Beautiful. Need to get the transport.
Getting a little touch up for the drawbar.
Okay. Front tap. Yep.
Same thing, female thread.
Yeah.
We'll go over all this stuff when we hook onto the car.
Yeah.
Gas bottle, pigtails, just pointing in which one you're using.
Yeah.
You're done, switch over to the next. Don't try drain out of both by putting it in the middle.
No, it actually shuts
It
off,
can do a bit of damage to it, so don't even store it up and down, just
Okay.
one or the other.
Yeah.
Breakaway box, yep.
One day.
All right. You happy with all that? You don't want to go over anything else on the outside?
That's awesome.
Fantastic. You want me to take my shoes off?
No, you've been in and out of the 100 mate, don't be silly. Got that new feel.
It does.
Oh, smell it.
All right. You got your little reading lights on the back. Okay, they can just unhook.
Oh yeah, nice.
All right, so they've got off. You've got standby mode. So if you think you're going to need light in the night and you're not going to be able to find it, you can leave that on. So your first touch is on.
Okay.
Otherwise they're off. And you can clip them back into here.
Aircon.
It's very easy. Very quiet.
Yeah, they're nice and quiet. They're a really good system. Off, standby, on.
Yep. Beautiful.
brushless Sirocco fan.
Beautiful.
Okay, that we put a little 12 volt socket up there, so if it's not in play, you can also just plug straight into that 12 volt
Oh
socket.
yeah, cool.
All right.
Fine compared to yours.
So there you've got the little Mitchell that's standard as well.
Yep.
It's got some pretty good pump about it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I can feel that.
Yeah. It's got on and off in the 12 volt socket, whereas the Sirocco fan,
Come over here and
it's got timer, another speed level as well, and off. So it's got different 1, 2, 3, and 4.
cool.
All right. Yeah, you got the window. So you've got Migi mesh,
Yep.
privacy screens.
screen.
Up.
I always say separate them when driving for the reason of if they're out together and they're just, if you're doing corrugation and stuff, they're rattling, it can come out and you've got a drama that you didn't need. Window,
One
1,
click.
2, 3, out and back in.
Shut 'em up.
Shut them up. So you've got PowerPoint, another PowerPoint, so they are all going to run off the inverter as well.
Awesome.
You got your storage up the back, storage.
Whoop. TV's there.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So yeah, like you said as well, there's plenty of ventilation up the top as well.
Yeah.
All right.
When you pack this up, you recommend having them closed?
I do, for the sense of if you're doing really dusty areas or something, or two, yeah, if it's you get an abundance of water, and then when it sits, if you open up and the water just splashes in through that area.
Yeah.
But look, a lot of people have it open, and if you do, it makes the roof easier to lift. Not that that's going to be a problem for you now, because it'll pop straight up. Over here you got the 24-inch TV. I'll swing that off the swivel bracket. All right, TV DVD player.
Awesome.
We've got 12 volt in, aerial in. This here is a little inline booster for the aerial.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll just plug that into the little USB socket.
Yep.
And that fires up the booster on it, all right? I'll turn those off. Otherwise, here, so if you're going away to somewhere that's cold as well, before I put the TV away, is where you fire up the gas heater. Gas heater's under here.
Yep.
All right.
Beautiful.
So you just turn that on. I've got it set to
30
30 degrees. That's just quick start, okay? So you can muck around with it.
Yeah.
Basically push, yeah, 30, turn it down a bit, whatever you like, but that'll fire up down there.
Yep.
You can swivel it either way that you want it to go.
Yeah, there it is.
And once it kicks in, yeah, they
it
are
going
fantastic. Yeah, sure.
It's blowing on my
Really?
So it'll start to fire up and get really hot when it wants to. Otherwise, just pushing it in. That should turn her off. Internal fridge,
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
okay.
I
little
didn't.
little 47 litre.
Yeah.
Milk will go with it, but not-
So just, yeah, look, if you're going to put milk in, and just make sure you fill the rest of it up as well. Too much air space in there and all you're doing is keeping one little 1 litre bottle of milk. Yeah, it's going to be wanting to kick into gear all the time. And look, if you get both fridges going at the same time, you can be pulling sort of 12 amps. That's a little fan just over the side there, just pulling some heat out.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right.
Beautiful.
I might lift this up. We've got storage underneath.
Beautiful.
Hot water systems under here. Okay.
Yep.
So
Down in there.
that's in there. So this PowerPoint, like I was saying, I've got it turned off.
Beautiful. That's fine.
We
Yep,
can leave it as
off.
that.
That's fine. We'll be using gas.
You know where the dump point is, just down there.
Little yellow tap.
That's it. Just
Yeah.
lifting that up to the drain system. So if you know you're not going away for a month or so,
Empty
just
it.
let that come out.
Yep.
Staying on the hot water system. So if you're not going to bother with the 240, what you need to do is gas bottle on,
Yeah.
cowl cover off.
Yeah.
The first one, water heater switch, which is the first red one.
That one there, it's
That's
on.
it. That's giving me some 12 volt power down at this little Truma switch down here. Okay, it's a 3-way toggle. So what we need to do is select the temperature. It's either up or down. If I push down, solenoid will kick in. And then,
Do you hear him?
yeah, you do.
Yeah.
When it tries, like, we're already at temperature.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Like our old Suburban one, it was the same, but you'd hear it like
Yeah.
a rocket ship taking off.
So you'll hear the click, it'll go, and then it'll go tick, 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 tick. It's probably not going to light the first time if you've pulled up to site. Exactly, turn it back off. You'll get the little red light fault. You ever see the red light on that? It's faulted, so it's not going to relight.
Turn it back to off.
That's it. Back on again.
Tick, 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 tick.
Bang, yeah. Second time it should light. If it takes a third, otherwise make sure, go out, check if you've left the cover on.
Oh, you got gas in
Yeah, exactly right. So there's a few troubleshooting things you can do. Other than that, we're done with that one. We'll open these up and check out the storage.
Plenty.
Okay.
I didn't know how it was, wasn't it? That's sweet.
Hanging rail,
Yeah.
I must have just overlooked that.
slide outs. You did have 2 drop downs, but now you've got gas heater.
That's fine.
This is a drop down, but you're not going to store anything there. That's where your rear tank pump is.
Yep. Front tank pump.
Front tank pumps in with that.
Yep. Cool.
Rear tank pumps in
So
with
that's
that.
got 2 pumps.
Yep.
So if one of the pumps shits itself, it's still got water.
Yep, correct.
Cool. Most of them only draw off one.
So underneath you've got a little bit of storage.
Yep. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
part of the kitchen.
Yep. Otherwise, we do have a
one's
bit
got a
more
fair
storage.
bit in
Yeah, there's a bit more storage under that one.
That's where the gas heater normally goes.
So that was where the diesel heater went.
Goes. Yeah.
The reason the gas one's here is it needs to vent
Yeah.
on a vertical surface, so it can't vent into the annex, or else we'd have a bit of a drama there. I'll show you this little drop-down table.
Press.
That pops off.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Fold that in half. Now, if those don't pop up, you do have to just reach under and lock it in.
Yep.
Okay, lift your seat up so that one can slide under. Comes a little day bed.
Awesome. So you're sleeping on the floor.
Bigger than what I thought, actually.
Done.
That's good. Real good.
All right. We've got that. We've got the remote TV side. What I'll do as well, Midgie mesh, privacy screens, separate. 1, 2, 3, out and back in.
They got 4 latches. That's awesome.
Got a light, you can rotate that depending on where you're sitting.
Go right. Or dim. Just hold it where the finger mark is.
Now, if you have trouble finding where it is,
Yes.
can't see it, it's got a little spring underneath. So they're all straight up, like straight through the center. So just rub your hand over it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. So you just hold a bit of pressure on it so
That's
that
a
the
good
spring
idea.
comes into play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Shower.
I'm sleeping in it tonight. Probably on the side of the Bruce Highway.
Big kabocha.
All right. Little exhaust fan. So if we want the light and that on in here, we need to have shower power on.
Oh, yeah.
If we don't have shower power, we don't have the light or fan. Alright, don't need that on. We've got the shower rose holder up the top here, so you can adjust so you don't have to hold the shower. That just slots in up the top. And away we go.
Days, yep.
Just like at home. Alright. Now for travel, like on road today, going home, that's fine. If you do any corrugations or anything, wrap it in a towel, chuck it on the floor.
Yep.
Toilet, you won't get signalled you run out of flush. Unfortunately, you'll just run out.
Yep.
So if we lift that up, there's our flush. You don't have X amount of flushes. You've got your however much water you put in, however long you hold it for.
It's the same as when you fill it up.
Perfect.
If you fill it up, it's full.
That's right.
Does it tell you when it's getting close to full?
Oh, the actual cassette?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll tell you. You get signal for that.
Okay.
All right, so that'll red light will come
Red
on,
light
say
will come
time
on.
to empty.
Yeah.
Internal lock.
Yeah.
Now you'll see you've only got an internal lock up high, so it does leave a bit of space at the bottom for it not pulling in. So I'd recommend just, you got a vinyl floor, it'll wipe off easy, but I'd still put a little shower mat down. Lock this one in for travel, so it is nice and tight, not rattling around. Alright, now up on the board, got our 2 speakers, left to right, 2 speakers. Amps is what we're drawing. Okay, so at the moment we've got the fridge going, got some lights on, so we're drawing 5 amps. Voltmeter, so that's what the batteries are at. So we're at mains power at the moment. So the battery's gonna be sitting a little bit above what it needs to.
Yeah.
Got our water gauges, grey, and our 2 tanks.
Yep.
They are linked to our 2 pumps. So one pump goes with one, next pump goes with the other. So what we're doing at the moment, so say we're running water through onto the cold, turning that off. Say you run out of your tank now, turn that one off,
Turn the other one on.
change to the next one. So now all the lines are going.
Yep.
Alright, that's all pressured up. So either if you're going somewhere for a couple of weeks, just drain one tank, drain the next.
Yeah.
If you want to be conscious of weight differentiating, you can basically,
Feel the
you know,
Chop and change.
chop and change between them. Don't go, oh, well, you know what, I'm going to keep them even and run both pumps, because you'll draw both double the amps.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need them anymore.
Awesome.
Turn those off. So water heater we talked about was down there for that power, so we don't need that anymore. Pumps are for your pumps, for your water tanks. Shower power in here.
There.
Fans, a little fan off the batteries. So when I open that up, I'll show you that's pulling some
Okay.
heat out of that area.
Yep.
Outside lights, the 2 outside lights there, so they'll flick off now.
Yep.
Alright. Shower light is outside by the kick-ass.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
shower power inside, shower light outside.
Yeah.
And roof light is your roof lights, alright? Turn them off, sweet, turn them back on. You do have to individually turn them back on again. Okay,
That's nothing.
got your little light up here as well, same thing, can be rotated, adjusted to what you need it to. 12 volt circuit breaker. Okay, so that's everything.
Anderson.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
No, this one's everything.
Yeah,
So if
I'm
we,
reading Anderson plug into the screen. Yeah.
so if you're done with everything, you're storing it away.
That includes the fridge.
That's
everything.
fridge, that's everything,
Yeah.
okay?
So that's isolation.
That's it. So that's a good idea when you're storing at home, so that nothing's pulling off the battery. You haven't forgot just that one light, and it's
Yeah.
basically... Main switch will do the same thing. Okay, so you can turn it off just for double, and then it's not pulling anything. 12 volt sockets.
Yep.
Anderson, so that is coming off the car. If your car gives it a big feed and over
It's an
60
issue.
amps, yep,
Yeah.
it'll drop there before doing any damage to the DC to DC.
Beautiful.
Airbag switch.
What is that?
For when the roof, okay, so you need the valve facing that way, so it's blocking the air from just going straight through.
So that's
We
right
can,
to bring him down at that.
yeah. So yeah, you can bring them down,
Yeah.
and then when we push them back up, the bags, you basically walk in, flick the button, and up she pops. You don't need the air left in the bags once you've filled them. Drain them. Gas struts will hold the roof.
Yeah.
240 outlet, main switch. So yours is
We
a
got
little
that
bit
one
different.
as well as the one
Yeah,
on-
there's 2. So normally it used to be mains power in and then an AC trip.
Yeah.
But yours will have mains. It's just rewired a bit different in there. So basically, yeah, that's still your main breaker, but that's just another breaker once everything else has gone through. Because yours is wired in with your mains, and then you've got your aircon, the inverter in,
Yeah.
and the battery charger. So that those will only fire up in the mains.
Yes.
Okay,
So
then
aircon, battery charger, or
Yeah.
only mains?
yes, correct.
Yeah. Cool.
And then after that, the inverter can do everything else as well as the mains power feeding through it. Aircon does switch on just from here, so we'll turn that on. I'm on cold, 20 degrees at the moment, can adjust the temperature.
Oh.
It's got light as well,
Hey? Oh, really?
so plenty of light
So
in
we
here.
can remote control turn the lights off, honey.
Look, it does have its different modes, flicking between them. Humidity, fan. Oh, hang on. Make sure you're pointing at it. heating.
Yeah.
Does have heating. You've got diesel heater, so I wouldn't even bother trying to use that
That's why
on
we went
heating.
with the diesel heater.
Oh, sorry, gas heater. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So the one before was diesel.
look, flicking that off. Yeah, and that just here. We've done with all. You got your 200 amp hour lithium battery. Now, if you do ever run this flat, it has a flat battery reset button on the top.
Yep.
Okay, so just plugging in the mains power is not enough because for the battery management system in it,
Yep.
you have to reset it. So it's basically holding that down, waiting for it to fire up, and then away your charger will go, kicking back in.
Wow.
Okay. 40 amp AC charger set for your lithium batteries. 40 amp DC to DC set for the lithium battery.
Beautiful.
All right. And you've got 2000 watt Energized AC transfer inverter.
Awesome.
All right.
And there's that little fan you said?
That's the little fan. There's some fuses for that. You got a 40 amp on the solar, 260 amps on each charger.
Okay.
On the battery level. Then a big 250 amp one for the Energize inverter.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Does that power the inverter, that thing on top there, does it?
What's that, sorry?
That thing that you just put your hand on.
This?
the fuse?
So that fuse, yeah, that's coming off. Yeah.
Wow,
Yellow other
that's
one.
serious, isn't it?
Yeah, big, nice and thick, heavy duty wire for that as well. All right.
Gotta love Enerdrive.
Yeah, it's a nice, neat setup in there. So,
Yeah.
nothing else in there. There's your compressor.
How do you Bluetooth to the? Do you have
So,
to pair it or something?
So all you do is get
I've got the
Energive app. Yep. Pull it up.
Yeah.
So click on your app, and your last 3 digits on your battery are 035.
So, Enerdrive.
So, have you got your Bluetooth on? So that'll put. So show me that. 035. That's you. You can rename it. It'll connect to your battery.
I'd already found them just like that.
Yeah, that's all the Energive stuff we've got in this shed at the moment. There we go. So that's what your batteries are at. So it's giving it a full charge at the moment.
It's
Charging.
Awesome.
13.4 volts. So give that a good charge right up to 100% when you get home, and
Yep.
then that'll stay. You don't have to leave it on charge either. Then you've got your different temps, what it's doing, temperature of the batteries,
Amps.
perfect health, status charging. These are little isolated breakers. So let's say, for instance, your stereo just kept tripping, and you go, oh, hang on a second, that's popped there. If it keeps popping, at least you can ring me and go, hey, something's going on with the stereo, that keeps popping. I can find someone to go, hey, trace that line for me.
You might as well watch, babe. It's going to be your part.
I am. Well, it was my part anyway.
And then I'll pull this
I'll be
down.
out of the way.
So that's facing that way, so it's blocking the air there. Takes about probably 20 seconds all up. That end will go first.
Really?
Yeah. And this end will go.
John must have known you thought you wanted
Hey, it's no drama at all. Alright, so we're going to take down the Annex. We're working in a bit of reverse. So what we'll do is we'll drop down these windows and lock it all up.
Do you need hands for that?
No, but I'll show you something. This is to save any arguments for couples. It's a really good one. So instead of you both trying to sausage roll it up and someone's going quicker than the other, yeah, just your little triangles. Alright, with another little fold over. That way you're only sort of working with a small section, and you can do it by yourself even.
A lot easier, isn't it?
Your little loops over the top. One, do them all up.
That's easy.
So basically it would look like that. You'd use those guy ropes if you want to pull that down on a better angle and peg down that wall basically.
So there two.
Yep, you got 2 2s and a 3.
Okay.
Basically, it's got two, there's not many poles, like there's two spiked ones in the spreader, that's all that can go sort of there.
Yep.
The other two that go up the middle are number 2s as well. And they just go up through, and then your bit goes across to brace the awning off.
Okay.
And then there's a number
Two,
4.
the spreader.
Yep.
Two. That one's number 4, is it?
Yep.
Goes at the back.
And that goes at the back, so that's the brace against any wind coming through. Always do use these little loops for that, because if anything happens, adjust the height or anything, and that
That'll
sort of
come out.
comes out. Yeah,
Does that just sit on the tractor?
it does.
Yeah.
So you always feed the walls in the sail tracks into the outside, so you have that run of 3. Basically, yeah, once that's all done, we can unhook. We'll definitely, hit these. Look, try avoid getting sunscreens and bug sprays and stuff like that on the canvas. If you get bird droppings or anything, just warm water washing it down. Poles, always give them a bit of a clean before you pack them away, or if you have to pack them away, just make sure you dry it all out basically before you leave it stored. This is labelled as well, so if you want to just set this wall up, find F for fridge.
Okay.
Alright, the other side's got D for door.
Yep.
And then what we do is, I'll just undo this from all its bits and pieces, and you can have a look at what goes where. Alright. So when I take these walls off, to use the Velcro to your advantage so you can find the middle. So find that, get that, then I can get my length. Awesome. Alright, so yeah, then your pieces, what I do if I'm going to set up the whole thing is always put the draft skirt on first, because it just lets you know which way to put your Velcro.
Okay.
So when you slide all these in, you haven't slid them all in, they're all back to front.
Yeah.
So the Velcro's facing the outside, so I know my first piece has to hold the pole.
Yeah.
Goes in straight up and down, and I've got my Velcro facing the outside. Next bit, we need to create that angle out over the fridge for the pole. So you've got that extra area. So I have my Velcro on the outside with the triangle piece, which only leaves one little spot for this little piece at the top, and I've got my Velcro on the outside.
Yeah.
Okay, we might take these poles out as well so we can get this wall down. Alright, so that's basically got the little nylon end with its little slot against there. Comes up and over here. I'd always use these, whether it's a non-windy day or not, just for a bit of bracing against, so it saves this from being all sort of floppy. I think it's a good idea. But unsplit that. Ooh. And then that just pops up and over.
If you haven't got that pole in, does that
No.
brace against you? So you've got to use
Yeah,
the pole?
well, like it will, but you're not. It's not holding on anything, so you get a bit of movement,
Yep.
slots across. And the other thing is that I like is this is pushing up, and then your guy ropes are pulling down, so it's sort of
Not going to go.
yeah.
Gives a solid.
Now, when you put this front wall on, if you're doing the full wall kit setup, always start left to right because you need that overhang. All right, and we'll get to our last wall. So yeah, that number 4 just slots up into that groove, and if you haven't slid the sail track, like in the sail track of the back row, you won't have anywhere for this to go.
Okay.
That just goes in the middle.
I think you've got enough to do.
Done. That's the walls. So that has its little runner here too.
Yep.
Obviously these are labelled for the anti-flap.
Yep.
And there's not really anywhere else this other 4 metre piece could go other than sliding into the back of your awning as well. Like as in you've got the sail track on the other side. All right, we'll take the draft skirt off. So when you do the draft skirt, same thing. You doesn't matter what side you start from, but you have to keep going with it with the step. Like it's not like you can just slip the step over behind at the end because there's a plate behind it.
Yeah.
You have to wrap it around.
Yeah.
There's 2 press studs on the side and then keep going. So either bang bang, hook underneath, keep going, or
the other way.
yeah, there's just no chance of doing it last. One at a time on the press studs, don't just rip the whole thing off. Sub the rest of my saddle track pieces out. They'll all fit in that bag. That's right. I do separate the number 1, so you've got your end that goes over, and then your bit against, just for a bit more space in there. All right. So say your awning goes, you've wound out, it's gone floppy. What I do is tighten it back up, and I just watch for the leg to start to kick back in. See how that leg here just moved back in? That's more than likely going to give us the best length for this 2.4 for the anti-flap. Then what happens is there's a couple of things you should check before your anti-flap goes up, that these aren't protruding through, because if they are, you'll never get the top jaw over the top. Go into the mouth, that just slots in as such. Make sure when you do slot in and you start to go up there, you stay away from the little awning guide at the top. You go in and you come out wide, you snap that off and your awning will never lock back into place properly. So what we do is we go in, we're in, we stay on the inside of this leg until we need to switch over. We go up and over, retract, and there's a little nut and bolt up here. If you want to have a look, if you stand on this, when I retract this lever back, you'll see there's a nut and bolt in there, just here. Up, over, lock that into place, okay?
Can't go anywhere.
That's step 1, that's all in place. Then what we can do is grab our step, put this piece on the top. So you don't want to go underneath here either, okay? You just want to butt straight up to it. That locks in, you'll hear it click in, that's all it is. You can do up your little knobs here. We only need 1 for the demo. That's all pinched in now, okay? Obviously you could do clamp, clamp, clamp. Now this one here, okay, goes over the top. So that little piece there is slotting into there. So that's something else you should keep an eye on, because if you get a little dag or a burr or you've got dirt and stuff in there, if that doesn't slot in, it's just gonna keep popping out. And with the last one, I go up to that and you'll see people are trying to click in and it's hitting this here. So what you got to do is just push the anti-flap up a little, so then it clicks in and it sits just on top of this bracket so that it's not pulling down pressure on your vinyl. If you're too far out, 1, that's not going to grab in properly, and 2, it's putting lots of pressure on the end of your vinyl. So you do have to just lift it so it just sits on top. Okay, now I could go along and do all the knobs. We're all locked in. Sail track in either for your shady gear blanket or the start of your wall kit.
The sail track is part of that, isn't it?
Yeah, yep, that's it. So if you just want to, if you need to slot your leg just a little bit to the side to start your journey going in, sending it up.
Beautiful.
All right, same in reverse, taking it off. We undo the knob, we push it up a little, just drop that off, place that to the side. Next one, undo, undo, undo. Pop off. And we retract from here. We stay close to the pole again, so that we don't do any damage. As soon as we can move inside, we do. We can see we're clear of the awning guide. Walk straight down, pop it out, separate. It's labelled as well. You got door 2, door 1.
Beautiful.
I always just chuck these back on top. For storage, for travel away, same thing. Clip it in, 1 lock in. Nice and simple.